Welcome to biology class. So today we are going to do the last part of the nervous system and we are going to cover the peripheral nervous system. Okay, let us begin now. The peripheral nervous system includes the nerves which carry impulses to and from the central nervous system. So you all know what is central nervous system. We have done in the previous class. So the central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. Okay. So the peripheral nervous system, it is like the part of nervous system which carry impulses to and from the central nervous system. This means that it takes information to and from the brain and spinal cord. Okay. So as you know that nerves are present all over your body, isn't it? That's why you feel the sensations all over your body. It is divided into somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. So we have two kinds of peripheral nervous system, somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. So let us do the somatic nervous system first. As you can see, the somatic nervous system consists of nerves which emerge from the brain and the spinal cord. So the nerves coming out from the brain and the spinal cord is known as somatic nervous system. And we have two kinds of somatic nervous system. The two kinds of nerves are involved in somatic nervous system. Those are cranial nerves and spinal nerves. So let us do the cranial nerves first. Cranial nerves emerge from the brain. So the nerves which come out from the brain is known as cranial nerves. And this cranial nerves, it goes to different parts of the face and other parts. Alright, so there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves, some of which are sensory, like the olfactory for nose. You know that your sense organs. So the one which goes to the sense organs, it is the cranial nerves which goes from your brain. Alright, so we have olfactory. Olfactory is the nerve, which comes from the brain to the nose. It connects the brain to the nose. Optic, so optic nerve connects the eyes and the brain. And auditory, brain and the ears. So there are 12 pairs, but you just remember this three: olfactory, optic and auditory. When you go to higher classes, then you remember all the other pairs of nerves. Alright, so motor nerves, like the ones going to the eye muscles. You all know what is motor nerves, isn't it? So motor nerves comes from the brain to the eye muscles. And mixed nerves. Mixed nerves means, you have done in the previous class, mixed nerves means the nerves which contains both the sensory as well as motor nerves, isn't it? And these come to your face and tongue. Alright. Let us now see the 12 cranial nerves. Just for your knowledge, I told you what you have to remember, isn't it? But just for your knowledge, let us go through these names. Alright, so we have olfactory, number 1. That is the first nerve. Alright, and you know where it goes. It goes to the nose. Optic, it goes to the eyes. Third nerve, which is oculomotor. It also goes to the eyes and it is involved in the eye movement. So similarly, we have trochlear, trigeminal, which is the fifth nerve which goes to your face. Alright, abducens, facial, auditory, you know it goes to the ears. Glossopharyngeal, which goes to your tongue, throat. Alright, from the brain stem, that is medulla oblongata. So we have similarly the 10th nerve, which is known as vagus. So all these names of the nerves. You have to remember all these names in your higher classes, and when you sit for your competitive exams, okay, these names usually comes. All right, and we have spinal, accessory, and okay, that is the 11th nerve. Okay, so next we have, you can see here, okay, the different kinds of nerves that is all over your face, isn't it? It comes from the brain and it goes to different sense organs, it goes to your throat. Okay, so it's, you can look at the picture here and you can figure out how many nerves are there, all coming up from the brain and goes to your facial features. All right, so next we have spinal nerves. So what are spinal nerves? Spinal nerves emerge from the spinal cord. From the name itself, you can say it emerges from the spinal cord. Okay, so there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Number 1, 8 pairs in the neck region. Okay. Number 2, 12 pairs in the thoracic region. 5 pairs in the lumbar region. 1 pair in the coccygeal region. Alright, that is the tailbone part. Alright, so let us see the position of these nerves. So position of the spinal nerves, you can see this portion, alright, which is in the neck. Okay, this is known as cervical region. So the nerves present here is known as cervical nerves. Okay, thoracic, you know, it is below this cervical region. This part is known as thoracic region, and the nerves present here are known as thoracic nerves. And below that you have lumbar, and the last part is known as coccygeal region. Okay, so these are the 31 pairs of spinal nerves. You can see here, okay, how it comes from the spinal cord. This is the spinal cord, and how the nerves emerges from the spinal cord. Alright, okay, so now we move on to autonomic nervous system. So the autonomic nervous system consists of pair of chain of nerves and ganglia. Ganglia means a mass of cytons of the nerve cell found on either side of the backbone. So you can see that your backbone, the spinal cord, okay, from there the nerve emerges and go to different parts of the body. Alright, so these nerves which go to on either side, left side and the right side, these nerves comes under the autonomic nervous system. Okay, so this system controls all the involuntary actions, okay, of the internal organs. So all the involuntary activities like beating of the heart, respiration, everything is controlled by this autonomic nervous system. Alright, your internal organs are doing its own function, but it needs a control, okay, like the CPU of the computer. So this is done by the autonomic nervous system. So here, you know, you can see that how does an autonomic system work? So the autonomic system works under two systems, sympathetic, okay, and parasympathetic system. So what does this mean? Is that it operates through two systems. For example, like in times of fear, what happens? The pupil of the eye gets dilated. Alright, and this is done by sympathetic. This is done by sympathetic nervous system. Alright, and it is brought back to its constricted position by the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so it works opposite to each other. Okay, the involuntary action which is happening inside your body, okay, there are two systems, nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So similarly, you have like if your blood vessel is constricted, that is done by sympathetic nervous system, and it is brought back to its dilated position through parasympathetic nervous system. Alright, so similarly we have this beating of the heart also during anxiety. And okay, so what happens is here, sympathetic nervous system, okay, it accelerates the heartbeat, okay, and the parasympathetic nerve system, it brings back to its, like, it slows down the heartbeat. Okay, this is how it works opposite to each other, and this is how involuntary action occurs inside your body. Okay, so not only these, there are other examples also, okay, which you can go through your book and read. So next we have here I can show you an example. What do you mean by dilation and constriction of the pupil? You can see here this inner part of the eye, the pupil is dilated. So this is done by sympathetic nervous system, and it is constricted here. This is done by parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. Okay, so with this we complete the autonomic nervous system. I mean the peripheral nervous system, which consists of somatic and autonomic nervous system. So we have completed that, and let us come to the last part now. What is reflex action? Now this is very interesting. The peripheral nervous system and the spinal cord together control certain actions where the brain is not involved. Such an action is called reflex action. So the meaning of this is that your brain, when you do certain actions, it happens automatically, right? You don't have to think for that. It happens automatically, and such an action is known as reflex action. And what is involved? Your spinal cord and the peripheral nervous system. Okay, so it is a quick automatic response to the stimulus. So there are two kinds of reflexes. Okay, when we do reflex action, we have two kinds of reflexes, natural and conditioned. So natural reflex is the one which has no previous experience, or learning is not required. It happens naturally. Alright, it is inherited from your parents. Like we have blinking of the eyes, okay, like watering of the eyes, coughing, sneezing. All these are natural. Okay, you have not learned from someone or through experience. So these kind of action, reflex action, is known as natural reflex. So next you have conditioned reflex action. That means it is like it happens due to some previous experience. Alright, that means like if you at the sight of your favorite food, okay, your mouth starts watering. But that was like before that, you never experienced such thing, because that thing you had never tasted, isn't it? After tasting that food and after liking it, so that has become like whenever you see that food, that means your mouth starts watering. So it is conditioned. It is because of the previous experience. Alright, and there are certain other things, examples like typing on the keyboard. That is also like we do it without the involvement of the brain, isn't it, if you are an expert? So this has happened because of a lot of practice, okay, previous experience. And similarly, playing the musical instrument also is a conditioned reflex action. Alright, so with this we complete this chapter, and we are going to discuss few things in the next class. Alright, so please underline the important points in your textbook, okay, and I will give you homework on this lesson very soon. Okay, thank you.